Stage 2 of the 1995 Tour de France. Just like stage 1, exactly 145 miles from the starting line in Perros-Guirec in northwestern France to the town of Vitré. Now, in today's 145-mile race, the key moments are going to come at 3 timed bonus sprint points, so named because riders can reduce their overall total time by precious seconds. The first one is going to come about 10 miles in. Second one halfway at about 90 miles, and then that third important time bonus sprint about 10 miles before the finish. Here we are at that first sprint. Riders kick it in with about 300 yards to go. It looks like Jamaldine Abdjaparov first, Mario Cipollini second, and that's Laurent Jalabert coming in third. Now, he was only 7 seconds out of first place overall. By taking third, he has 2 seconds deducted from his total time, which tied him with American Frankie Andreu for 5th in the overall standings on the road. Up ahead, a lot more action on the Stage 2 course, including a change of scenery. Here's Phil Liggett now as the riders leave Brittany.
And leaving Brittany with the good luck of the French continuing, because it does appear that there might be a new wearer of the yellow jersey tonight, because Jackie Giron, who was leading the race this morning, is now finding he's lost time in the bonus sprints. There are 3 of them along the course today, and the man who has profited most is Laurent Jalabert. He finished 3rd in the first sprint today after some 10 miles, where he earned a 2 seconds time bonus. And in the second sprint, which came after something like 80 miles of racing, he won that and gained a 6 seconds time bonus. As a result, he is now in the lead on time by a single second ahead of Jackie Giron. If the situation remains unchanged all of the way to the finish today, then there will indeed be a new leader in the Tour de France, and it will be Laurent Jalabert.
Well, Phil, let's go back and take another look at that second time bonus sprint. We're about halfway into the course now. Jalabert in the center of the screen in the pink uniform with the Italians Lombardi and Baldato pushing him. But by throwing his bike forward, he wins the sprint, and a little revenge from Baldato, who beat Jalabert yesterday. A 6-second time bonus for Jalabert. Perhaps the greatest story of the 95 Tour so far. A year ago today, that terrible crash. He's had his best season ever here in 95. And an opportunity now to put the 24 days of this tour in perspective. Exactly 365 days ago, that man, Laurent Jalabert, was the victim of perhaps the most disastrous crash in the history of the Tour de France. Watch the left side of your screen. The rider highlighted in pink. Jalabert goes face first into the streets of Armentières, France. Stage 1 of the 94 Tour. 6 weeks later, Jalabert left the hospital and this experience behind him. 1 rider, 1 year. The lowest and highest moments of the tour. He could be in yellow by day's end, but he'll need his team's help.
Mariano Rojas on the right of our picture, setting the pace, and the boys from the ONCE team are now trying to bring this race back together, because they have the confidence that Laurent Jalabert will have the legs to build on his 1 second lead that he has so far on the road today.
That illness of Eddie Soigneur may well be because of the bad weather we had over the first couple of days, and that will be interesting to see if it does have an effect on any of the times that are produced in tomorrow's team time trial. You can see at the moment a lot of the other teams starting to move up to the front now. Claudio Chiappucci always at the front towards the end of a race, looking for an opportunity to try and steal back some time, but the work still being done by the ONCE squad as we go back to Masson.
Frans Masson, the winner of the Amstel Gold Classic race in his own country in the years gone by, and I remember Eric van der Orden when he was champion of Belgium, winning Paris-Roubaix in atrocious conditions, but he won it on his own, and that's the finest way to win the best single-day classic in the world. And van der Orden coming in at the very, very last minute for his Italian team. And it looks as though it might be a good omen, because he has some good form. These little rises, though, must seem like the Alps right now, because they have been full out. They have been at their maximum effort, because the race hasn't let them escape.
These riders have been at the front actually for over 30 kilometers, because they escaped with some 65 kilometers ago. You see Eric van der Orden there just looking across his left shoulder as they took that left corner to see if he could get a quick time check on how far behind the main field was at the moment. That this now, as we come into the town, gives them a chance to open up a little bit of a gap. There we get an aerial shot of the main field. They're in the same town, and it may well be that these two riders will just hold on to take the two bonus places.
Well, this is the town of Châteaubourg, and we are 21 kilometres from the finish now as we approach the sprint, but it looks as though they will survive in the last kilometre for the small bonus times, which is not their aim, of course. They want to keep on going for the victory on the day, and the Oncé team behind would like to bring them back into the fold. If they fear, I think they might feel, well, if they could just get through this sprint and keep a gap on the big field, then the main field might just back off a little bit and take a rest period, and it might get clear again.
Well, that would play into the hands of the Oncé, because there is still the big bonuses at the finish line. As we come under the banner with 20 kilometres to go, it must be just around this corner when these two riders will see the banner for the hotspot sprint.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me, in fact, if these two don't even sprint for the banner in 500 metres time, because although there is a prize for the first two riders, it's not this prize they're hunting. Frans Maassen has the lead at the moment, then Eric van der Orden. Van der Orden in his days was a great sprinter as well as a great time trial rider, but he's lost a little bit of that. I suppose you do when you get a little bit older.
So that's one of the first things to go. The thing that a rider like Eric van der Orden has also probably lost is his ability to climb, but he has really started to ride well in the last couple of years, especially when to it. And this is in fact a good move by Jackie Durand. He's tried to surprise Laurent Jalabert because he could get the 2 seconds back, but straight away there's an Oncé rider on him.
And the Oncé rider must beat him, because the third place gets 2 seconds, and that's Jalabert who's jumped him straight away. Well, Jalabert knows the men to mark. He followed the yellow jersey and goes by with the greatest of ease, while in fact it's Frans Maassen who takes the first place from Eric van der Orden. But this is going to put Jalabert 3 seconds ahead in the Tour de France, because he is taking the third place bonus of 2 seconds at the sprint. He's doing just enough to make sure that Jackie Durand does not creep up on him. That's the white line, 2 seconds in the bag, so Laurent Jalabert now leads the Tour de France by 3 seconds, with the finish still to come. What a great tactic. So the race is coming slowly together. I'm sure they'll all be together in the next few kilometres, and then we'll be down for the big finish.
Stage 2 of the Tour continues with Francesco Frattini of the Gavis team, a young man who had 2 big wins in races earlier this year. About 6 miles left to go to the finish.
10-kilometre banner flying overhead, and Frattini is trying to bring the Gavis team back into the action. They were the team of the early season last year, but they haven't done quite so well this year. As Paul just said, Frattini was the surprise winner of the World Cup event, the Grand Prix Frankfurt in Germany. But apart from that, they haven't featured like they have in previous early season races.
Another man there from TVM looking for a gap. That was Jesper Skibby, I think, trying to slip clear. A man who always looks for the gap at the end of a race like this. He's not a superb sprinter, but he won a brilliant stage and a hilltop finish a couple of years ago, which took everybody by surprise, and he just managed to hold off. And whenever you get to the end of a race like this, Skibby's looking for a break.
Well, Paul, those sprinters will have their chance later as the race continues close to the finish, but we have a chance now to profile Team Oncé as they pull along and protect their man Laurent Jalabert. You know, of the 9 riders on this team, there are 7 different nationalities from 3 separate continents. They've always had a highly scientific approach to their riding. All their work you're seeing here will be downloaded into a computer later tonight. Their team leader, Alex Zula, looking good in 15th position overall. Their sprinter and really their co-leader is Laurent Jalabert. After last year's crash, he had his best spring ever and is now a contender for yellow. The best Billy Goat is from Colombia, an all-mountain country. He is Olivero Rincon. Watch him in the Alps. Their team sponsor, Oncé, is an acronym for a Spanish lottery that benefits the blind. As we pull back from the peloton, a note that all 21 teams have been riding pretty tightly, but there appears to be a split in the peloton now, Paul. 2 large groups.
What's happened here is the Oncé team have been at the front putting an awful lot of pressure on, and the wind is coming from the left-hand side, and that's caused a split in the main field. This is called an echelon, when the riders use all of the roads to shelter each other. But what happens then is that you get caught at the back of the echelon, and that's when the split forms. 1 or 2 riders here trying to get across, but Oncé doing an awful lot of damage at the front.
Well, this is their speciality, the team time trial. They're having a dress rehearsal here for tomorrow's big team time trial, when all the teams come out to play just in their team formations, all 21 teams, when we race down to Alençon. But today, the Oncé team are all at the front. There's the Lagini Berzam from the Gavis team. And this is Gianni Bugno, who's paying a lot of attention to the front of the race today. On the back there, the lamprey colours, that's the blue and the mauve, is Jan Zverada, who was my tip for the victory yesterday, but he fell off as he approached the finish and didn't get his shot at the gold medal.
Well, everybody has a chance today, but at the moment it looks very much as if the Oncé have moved over to the left of the road to give a little bit of shelter to the rest of the riders in here, and everybody started to come back together. The ball figure just going off. This picture there was Marco Pantani. A little bit further back, another balding figure, which seems to be the message of the day these days, of Armand de las Cuevas.
And the attack again from Frattini. He's just been brought back once and he's gone again. Well, Gavis are deciding they're not going to fall into the sprinter's hand, but the sprinter chases. Just look at the strength of Laurent Jalabert. He knows he's in yellow. He's launched another attack to mark this attack by Frattini. Jalabert's had a marvellous, marvellous season and taken away completely the tragedy of 1 year ago. This year he has won 14 races, and that despite the fact that midway through the season he decided to take a layoff of 5 weeks so he wouldn't become stale. He came back just as good as he was when he left. Tremendous achievement by Laurent Jalabert, and now, Paul, he's chasing everything.
He realizes that he's in the position to take the yellow jersey and he doesn't want anybody to get away from him. His teammates have done all the work, but you see the pressure of the Oncé squad there really has caused a lot of turmoil in the back there, and Jalabert may well have got a gap at the moment.
Well, it's a gap. I estimate of about 10 or 12 seconds that little group has gone away from the main field. You can see, well, you can't see, but you almost can see from our cameramen, who have the most difficult job on the Tour de France, keeping away from the riders and showing us these incredible pictures from their backseat position on the motorbike. But there is a group here, and we're in the last 6 kilometers now, or just about. There's a group here of maybe 30 to 40 riders, so there's over 140 riders left behind in the last 6 kilometers, and there was no terrain to break them up. This has been done purely on speed. A lot of tyre legs there, Paul.
Definitely, but again, it's because of this crosswind that has pushed all the riders into the right-hand gutter, and the speed so far. One of the men caught out there in the red, yellow and black jersey was Laurent Jalabert. Was Wilfred Nelson. He's in the back group there. So this is Claudio Chiappucci. El Diablo, you can tell him by the helmet on the front there. He's trying to put the pressure on. El Diablo will always look for an opportunity to attack. There's no way that he's ever read the handbook on what to do in cycle racing. When he feels good, he just goes for it.
Well, I'm often asked which is my favourite rider. I don't really have one, because they're all so good, but I do like to see Claudio Chiappucci annoy everybody, because he throws in the odd spanner in the works whenever he can. The riders hate him for doing it, and they really do shout at him or over the dinner table at night, but they can't stop him. He's so impetuous. But there is that other man who's rather... This is Francois Simon, still wearing the polka dot jersey of the King of the Mountains, and will be by the end today on the same team as Jackie Durand. But the yellow jersey's off the team now, but at least the polka dot jersey will stay possibly for one more day, and who knows, he's going clear. There's the split. In fact, I think they're coming back.
It looks very much to me as if it's starting to close up. You see the way the front part of the breakaway there has spread across the road. It means there has been a slowing down, and the fact that one man like Francois Simon is managing to ride across that gap on his own means they've slowed down considerably in front.
Polti team having a go. Another Italian team on the attack. The Italians are dominating world cycling just at the moment. This is no exception. Dirk Boldinger, the German rider on the Italian team. And these constant attacks are going to create a ripple reaction which might well keep the big slice of the peloton off the back of the chase.
Inside 10 kilometers to go now, and everybody wants to get clear. I think, in fact, that was the 5-kilometer banner, so we're a lot closer to the finish. And this is Boldinger, who's trying to go clear at the moment, but once they come into the town, they will have to negotiate quite a steep climb, which one or two riders may try and use as a launch pad to get themselves off to a lone victory. 4 kilometers for the main field.
Paul, we should point out here that not in this group of 37 breaking away is the American team Motorola, Frankie Andreo, Lance Armstrong, and Andreo is only 5 seconds behind the leader. Now, tomorrow is the team time trial, so the pressure's really going to be on the guys in red, white, and blue. Color today's flag, blue, white, and red for the leader, Laurent Jalabert.
Bernard Hinault, the 5 times winner of the Tour de France, has said that Laurent Jalabert shouldn't imagine himself to be a sprinter. He should look at himself as to be a real classic rider who could win the Tour de France. And, you know, Jalabert, well, if he finds himself in yellow, as he seems now certain to do tonight, he has got to respect the reputation of Bernard Hinault and consider whether he can, in fact, go for the victory in the Tour de France and not just for the green points jersey.
Phil, very good point. Of course, Hinault, a 5-time winner. Miguel Indurain looking for his 5th consecutive. That would be a first. 2 men out in front of the rest, including former world champion Maurizio von Driest.
Jesper Skibby has gone to the front. Well, I spoke to the Danish television earlier today, and I said, well, your riders haven't won much so far. They said, don't worry, we're going to win plenty of stages. Well, now Skibby has made the move, and they're inside 1.5 kilometres from the line with von Driest. This is going to foil the sprinters, I think.
They may well have just moved at the right time. They're working very well together. There's no animosity. They realise that they can't look at each other and wait and try and cheat one out of the other. They're giving everything they've got, but right behind, the main field is boring down upon them. I think they've got about 50 metres lead at the moment. That may well just be enough, because just at the top there, you can see there is the Flamme Rouge, the red kite. They've got 1 kilometre to go, so it may well be that they've gone just a little bit too early, because this is a long, hard climb. And in fact, this looks like Andre Schmeel, the Lotto rider, who's come back in there.
Schmeel, the Lotto boys. We saw the Lotto team warming up the chase, and they got nothing out of it yesterday, but now Schmeel has come. And this time, Andre Schmeel has gone through. He led the World Cup last year. He was a brilliant winner last year at Paris-Roubaix, and he's just taken them on the fly. He's going into the last 700 or 800 metres now, and the reaction coming from Onsafe for Jalabert, because the first 3 riders will receive bonuses of 20, 12 and 8. And Jalabert is trying to conserve his new lead in the Tour de France. Schmeel is trying just to conserve a few yards in the Tour de France as he comes up on the right of our picture, and the sprint with Fedegati is right behind him now. Martinello is coming through. Cipollini is in there as well, and so is Abdou Japarov. They've got him on the line. They've got him on the line. Martinelli, Cipollini, Abdou Japarov. That's the order. He comes to the line. And Fedegati also. But Cipollini is coming clear now, and Cipollini is going to get it. Fedegati is taking him on board now as comes the green jersey 2 of Baldato. Now Abdou Japarov. Cipollini gets it. Cipollini gets it on the line.
Well, Cipollini's pace led the peloton across the line about half hour.
Tomorrow.
Exactly 1 year after disaster, Laurent Jalabert really kicked it in today, 5 seconds ahead of second place. Frankie Andreo drops from 5th to 10th. Rominger and Indurain